He just working hard. Like you can tell that he's trying to get back to like his self, and him using running is like sharpening up his fundamentals. He knows what to do already. He just, it's making him get into fight shape. And us being around each other, we push each other.
Well, everybody's right who say he's not going to be the same. He's going to be better, so much better than he ever was. His body is well rested. He feels really good. Everything is going great. And as you saw today, his punches are fluid. He's strong, and he's throwing the punches to where I think he should throw them. And defense is looking good, so everything is going great. And hey, everybody that's thinking he don't have anything left, just wait.
Fan of boxing, I'm gonna be in Australia. I'm gonna be.
I know you're gonna be over there. Yeah.
I'm gonna be supporting Spence, rooting him on. I just like to support, fighters in his own right. I done been in Boots locker room supporting him, So it's just crazy how the tables turn, when people get to a certain plateau and they forget about them.
We had an obligation on behalf of TV, on behalf of promoters, to have a chat, and he didn't oblige.
He might not watch live, but I'm sure he'll watch this back at some point. A message for Errol Spence, who hasn't joined us here today.
I'm coming for every limb. That's it, simple, especially that red nut.
What I think his punch resistance is there, and the work ethic, and like I said, just the work that he's doing in the gym is not of someone that's clocking in, trying to show up for a check and trying to be like, let's see what we can do. Like he's fully locked in. He cares about improving each and every day. And
on July 25th in Sydney, Australia, Errol Spence Jr. returns to the spotlight for a huge 158-pound catchweight clash against Tim Tszyu. The matchup has completely divided the boxing world, with many fans calling it a battle between two fighters searching for redemption. After both men endured devastating setbacks in recent years, the anticipation has reached an all-time high.
I want to fight Tim Tszyu. I'll fight Tim Tszyu in Australia.
At this point, Tim Tszyu is the best that you can get?
I mean, he wasn't the best that I could get. I was looking at Fundora. And I feel like the styles meshed up very well. And you ain't got to retract on that. You said, you know what you said. Tim is the biggest of names. He's cool. But he's not the biggest of names, and
for main event, he's the biggest of
names. He's the biggest names in Australia. You know what I'm saying?
Predictions continue to pour in, training camp rumors are spreading fast, and some believe one fighter may already have one foot out the door before the opening bell even sounds.
Tim Tszyu fought Errol Spence Jr. Who do you think?
Again, it's too many variables with Spence. The one positive variable is he says at a 154 he's going to be stronger. He doesn't have to struggle to make the weight, and he was, it was pretty known news around the business that Spence struggled a lot to make 147. So the one positive, the argument for Spence is at 154 he's more fresh. He's going to be able to breathe a little bit into his body, and it'll be a better version of Errol Spence. The opposing figure is basically what everybody's been saying. Is his eye okay? Has he been the same since the surgery? Has he been the same since that bad car accident? Is he going to be the same after getting beaten from pillar to post by Terrence Crawford? Which also, that's the kind of loss that fighters don't really recover from once they're past 30 years old. Those kind of beatings change you if they happen when you're older. There's a lot of question marks. Personally, right now, if I was, you put a gun to my head and say, okay, what do I think?
Perhaps the biggest revelation of this entire build-up didn't come from analysts or boxing insiders. Instead, it came directly from Errol Spence Jr. himself. Just weeks before the most important comeback fight of his career, Spence made a surprisingly honest confession that immediately caught everyone's attention. Rather than promising destruction, the 36-year-old admitted that his passion for boxing isn't what it once was. He revealed that he now approaches his career one fight at a time, and even confessed that during this demanding training camp, he has found himself thinking more about future vacation plans than life inside the ring.
And training camp ain't really. I still got 8 weeks left, and I'm like, bro, I've been thinking about vacation spots where I'm going. I've been telling my girl, like, hey, man, we finna go here, we finna go there, like, we finna dip.
That's how you know you getting older, bro.
Yeah, that's how you know you getting older. Like, the first of this year, bro, I done been, like, 4 or 5 different places. Like, I went to St. Martin, I've been to DR, I've been to, Aruba.
That's dope.
Like, 2, 3 more other places, you know, but I'm just telling, like, yo, we gonna go somewhere, but for me, bro, I just want to sit and embrace the moment, bro, because I know this is over one day. It's over one day and it's not coming back, and I don't want to be 10 years down the line like, man, like, I should have enjoyed it more. I should have really embraced it more. So, you know, this time I'm going to fully embrace it, you know, live 100%, you know what I'm saying, to what I say I'm going to do. And just, you know, and just be in it and just look at everything, embrace everything, and just take everything in.
Yeah.
And I know I got a lot left, but, you know, like you said, I'm not trying to leave everything, you know. Like, he seen me spar, Jordan's like, man, you still got a lot left in the tank, bro. I was like, yeah, but I'm not trying to get him everything that's in the tank.
Those comments instantly ignited debate across the boxing community. Fans and analysts viewed them as a serious warning sign, questioning whether a fighter can survive against a relentless pressure opponent while already appearing mentally focused on life after boxing.
Honestly, this is only my opinion, nephew, you know how I am. I don't want to see Spence back in the ring. I think he went through so much with everything, the accidents and everything. It's time for him to let boxing go. That's my opinion. I don't want to see him get in the ring and at a higher weight and it's been so long and the ring rust and the accident, the injuries. I think he should stay on his ranch, enjoy what he has gotten, be a cowboy cattleman, and call it a day.
But how, I mean, I assume it's gotta be difficult for a guy of his stature and, you know, going out the way he did. I'm pretty sure he wants to get back and kind of show at least, you know, I do have a little bit left in the tank.
Well, it could be, but I'm just saying from the perspective of an individual, an athlete that has gone through so many trials and tribulations, I think at this point in time, it's not going to help him. If he wants to get a win and then call it a day, I could co-sign to that. But for him to think he's going to relaunch his career, especially at 54.
Tim Tszyu wasted no time sensing an opportunity. After Errol Spence unexpectedly failed to appear for a scheduled virtual media face-off on Australian television, Tszyu immediately went on the attack. Speaking live on air, he criticized the former unified champion, accusing him of acting like a diva and questioning his professionalism ahead of the fight.
Well, this is the section where we were meant to cross the United States to talk to Errol Spence, but we are just hearing now that despite a number of phone calls and this time being booked with Errol, he has not jumped on, and it appears he will not be joining us for this chat. Tim, your immediate reaction to that?
Well, we've been waiting, 45 minutes now. I missed out on sparring today. We had to change it up for this to be done, so I'm quite upset.
Is this a surprise to you that this has happened? I know you had those interactions at the press conference. Do you think that he's slept through something?
We're waiting for the USA game, but I don't know.
Tszyu didn't stop with criticism alone. He delivered a chilling warning, declaring that July 25th would mark Errol Spence's official retirement party. He pointed out that while Spence has spent the last 3 years away from competition, he has remained active, motivated, and fully prepared to drag the American into deep waters from the opening round.
Why? Yeah, even stylistically, what he's got to prove as well. You know, this is the best division coming up. So yeah, there's just a lot on the line for both of us.
When the fight got offered and Errol wasn't going to take a warm-up, and he went straight in after 3 years out, did that surprise you? Was you surprised by that?
To a certain extent. But I know the type of fighter he is. He likes to take on, again, hard challenges. But I'm going to give him that regret feeling that, you know, he should have taken a warm-up fight.
obviously he had people haven't seen much anything of him from the last few years, and he had he had an open workout a few weeks ago, and a lot of people took from that, people looking like he's slow and this and that. I don't know if you took anything from it, but also like, yeah, I guess did you take anything from it, if you'd seen anything from
Honestly, I haven't seen anything, but I feel like Errol's he's a monotone type guy. He's what he's good at is that constant pressure, constant punching, and it doesn't have to be flashy and quick and stuff like that. He knows when to throw the punch, and he keeps on going until you have to be until it's sink or swim type situation. So that's what he's good at.
Yeah, I know, like, you always want to prepare for the best version of Errol, but there is that sense of do you think there's that sense of unknown, being like, we don't know how he's going to look at a new weight, hasn't boxed for ages, like there's still that sense of unknown, because you still don't know what sort of version of Errol you're going to get?
No, not really. I'm preparing for the best. The biggest thing for me is to test his heart. How bad does he want it? You know, when you've been there, done that in the sport, it's sort of like, do I need to do this? Do I need to keep on going? You know, that's what I want to test when he starts talking to himself.
While the heated trash talk continues to dominate the headlines, the biggest story may actually be unfolding behind closed doors. Reports have begun leaking from Spence's private training camp, particularly from former world title challenger Brian Mendoza, who has shared rounds with both Tszyu and Spence. Across the boxing world, insiders are closely monitoring every rumor from those sparring sessions, trying to determine whether Spence's legendary durability survived the brutal punishment he absorbed against Terence Crawford. Although Mendoza has remained respectful about the details, speculation continues to grow that Spence has looked stiff and rusty, raising serious concerns about his punch resistance heading into this dangerous showdown.
Spence, for those that think that he's done, he's just showing up for a check. I've heard that a lot. A lot of people critiquing. He's not working like someone that's showing up for a check. The work ethic I got to see in the couple of weeks I was there, and obviously just from literally being in the ring with him, sharing the ring, working with him, there was adjustments every day. He's not someone that's just showing up and clocking in and be like, all right, let's go through the motions and do the same thing. He was making adjustments. I was catching him with shots the first day we sparred. The second day we sparred, those shots were not landing. I had to figure something else out.
Errol Spence.
Exactly, yeah. People forget, they know he's a pressure fighter. He likes to work the body. He tries to break you down. Errol Spence is known just to try to break your will. People forget he was a boxer as an amateur. He was an Olympian, and he used to box people. It's just that he found out he can run people over, and he got a little too happy with that, but it's worked out with him. And obviously, it's still dangerous. They're wearing small gloves, so he's quick with certain things. And if he catches Spence, maybe he gets him out of there and he's able to. But I feel like the pressure that Spence is going to be able to put on, and because one thing is, I did check Spence's punch resistance. I can definitely say, I sent some missiles his way, and I honestly felt like he responded well. Anytime I did, land something, he wasn't like running away. He wasn't like buzzed, falling on, like, he eats the shots well. It's I still saw a recovered Spence is what I think. I think his punch resistance is there, and the work ethic, and like I said, just the work that he's doing in the gym is not of someone that's clocking in, trying to show up for a check and trying to be like, let's see what we can do. Like he's fully locked in. He cares about improving each and every day. And
despite the ongoing rumors and his lengthy absence from the ring, a surprising number of elite boxing figures still believe Spence will dominate Tim Tszyu. Respected names like Tim Bradley and Zab Judah have backed the former champion, arguing that Tsyu's aggressive, come-forward style plays perfectly into Spence's strengths. They believe Tsyu's lack of defensive movement could leave him exposed against a technically disciplined fighter.
Listen, man, this is what I say. And that's the kind of fight that Errol Spence needs. A guy like Tim Tszyu. Why Tim Tszyu possesses a fight, he's going to stand right in front of Errol Spence and he's going to fight. That's the fight that we've known Errol Spence to dominate guys in. You know what I'm saying? We know that for anybody standing in front of Errol Spence toe-to-toe, he's going to destroy them. So this might be the perfect opponent that Errol Spence needs to come back to show the world who Errol Spence really is. I believe he got the perfect opponent.
Yeah, I agree.
Stylistic. This is let's go. Let's minus the Crawford fight, guys. Let's go back before the Crawford fight. And we know the big fish. Anybody standing in front of him, he's rapping. So I think that Tim Tszyu possesses the perfect style. He's gonna be right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, he lacks a lot of defense. You know what I'm saying? On maneuvers, and I think that's where the downfall is gonna be at. Other than that, he's a very tough fighter. He comes forward. He has a lot of heart. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, he's very. But a style like a Errol Spence walk down, that's not gonna be. That's ooh. That's watch what I say.
According to these respected boxing veterans, if Errol Spence can still bring even a glimpse of the sharp jab and punishing body attack that made him a world champion, Tim Tszyu's defensive weaknesses could leave him wide open for a calculated and brutal dismantling.
Would be too much for Tim Tszyu. I'll say it right now. Tim Tszyu, we've seen all of the talks about him bringing Errol Spence back into the fold. I think the game misses Errol Spence. I think boxing needs Errol Spence. And I like this fight, and I like the fact that Tim is obviously coming off a win.
Even though it's not a current champion, like Errol Spence probably wanted, when he first started talking about coming back, he wanted to fight Sebastian Fundora, which now everybody's looking at, he's a hard guy to fight.
Wait a minute.
But that's how Spence is,
No tune-ups.
Right, but even though he's not fighting a champion, Tim Tszyu ain't a tune-up.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? He's actually a very skillful fighter. He just has some losses now. Losing to Fundora, getting stopped or whatever, that hurt him a lot. Even though Spence only has one loss, they're both in the same boat where they need a good name now to put him right back on top because they're right, especially Spence, you're right there. One good win.
I wouldn't disrespect Spence like that. I know you're not doing that, but they're not in the same boat. Errol Spence lost to arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time.
I understand
and that's his only loss.
And I think he can get a big fight no matter what.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tim Tszyu got to prove himself. But yeah, Errol Spence can have a big fight straight off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, he reigned at 147 for a very long time. And look,
was on the pound for pound
he's
list.
taken a longer break than I guess people anticipated or that people even want. But let him do what he needs to do in order to get his mind right back into the sport. I'll say it right now. And you can take it to the bank. I'm just saying.
Take it to the bank.
I think Errol Spence would be too much for Tim Tszyu. I think this break is going to serve Errol Spence well. I'm so keen on that. I just think that he needed this break, and we're going to see a great.
Not everyone, however, is convinced that this comeback will have a happy ending. Leading analysts like Chris Algieri and Regis Progrise have urged fans to consider the harsh effects of time and punishment. They believe the combination of Spence's age, multiple car accidents, serious eye injuries, and the devastating defeat to Terence Crawford creates far too many unanswered questions heading into such a dangerous fight.
Yeah. So, is that a good fight for him coming off of what's it been, like 2, maybe 3 years?
Is it a good fight? Yes. But the question marks surrounding him are there. And, because he's been so absent from the sport, he's been inactive. He is coming off, that really bad loss to Terence Crawford. How much is really left in the tank? Only him and his team will really know at this point. How is he going to react to punches on fight night? We're never going to know. But honestly, Tszyu is coming off a really bad run himself. So I do actually think it's a good matchup in terms of timelines, their timelines crossing. It makes sense. It's not like we're throwing Errol right into Virgil Ortiz. Right. That I would be very concerned about and really wouldn't want to see that. But this fight makes sense.
Yeah. How does that fight look? I mean, it's been a while since we saw Errol.
Really, I couldn't tell you. Really couldn't tell you because we don't know how much Errol has. I think Errol at his best would be one of the top guys at 54. But we haven't seen Errol at his best in a very long time.
Is that hard being a fighter on a long layoff? Is that hard to get right back in there like that?
Yeah, but he's made a career on it. Errol is Mr. I don't do tune-ups, and he's coming off a long layoff. Though? I don't think so. I think you're going to deal with ring rust because I think of Errol at his best is when he was really busy and fighting often, and he had a style that he was in and out. You saw some of that his amateur pedigree, the way he fought me and Mikey Garcia. He fought very, very smart. He didn't take unnecessary damage. But later on in his career, you saw him. He was a little more flat-footed. He was more willing to engage. It was way more fun to watch. But that's not made for longevity, And when you're not fighting as often, your timing's a little off. You get hit with big punches early on. And getting hit with big shots, I don't care who you are.
The reality of boxing is unforgiving. While punching power can remain for years, speed, reflexes, and defensive reactions naturally decline with age. If Spence has lost even a fraction of those crucial attributes during his 3-year layoff, stepping into the ring against a younger, active, and hard-hitting opponent like Tim Tszyu could prove to be an extremely dangerous gamble.
Your last fight, you fought Tim Tszyu. You won that one. It's speculated that he's going to be the fight that Errol comes back on. Can you give me some insight, since you were in the ring with him, and if you think that would be a good fight or not for Errol?
I think it's an interesting fight. You know, this guy's been losing. Tszyu's been losing, but at least he's been active. You know, at least he's been active. Spence hasn't been seen anywhere in boxing, in the ring, wise.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think losing to Crawford like that, then taking the layoff like that, and then getting the car accidents, these things are bigger losses than just the losses that Tszyu had, you know? I favor Tszyu in the fight. I won't be surprised if Spence knocks him out or win. I mean, Spence is still one of the top dogs, you know? You can never take that away from him, you know? But it's just too much of a layoff, you know? That's way too much of a layoff for anybody in anything, you know? You just can't expect to come back into the ring and be that guy who you were before.
Another major talking point is the carefully selected 158-pound catch weight. Many boxing insiders believe Spence's team made a brilliant strategic decision by setting the fight above the traditional 154-pound limit. The extra weight allows Spence to avoid the exhausting cuts that troubled him late in his welterweight career, giving him the opportunity to enter the ring stronger, healthier, and fully hydrated. If that advantage pays off, it could neutralize the physical strength Tszyu normally uses to overpower his opponents.
Errol Spence versus Tim Tszyu. He's no caliber of his father, of his daddy. So he can't even compare himself to his pops. He fighting me, he trying to get out his daddy's shadow. So we'll see come July 26th, can he get out that shadow?
How do you respond to that, Tim?
It's alright, he likes to talk it up as well. Look, I'm a very respectful guy. I came up to him before, tried to shake his hand, and he just walked past me like a disrespectful and that just shows the type of person he is, and that's alright, you know. Now he's out here talking about the comparisons between me and my dad. I've heard it all. There's every fighter that I've ever fought has said the same thing.
Man,
so
you've been talking
it's alright.
on social
It's alright.
media, and then when you see me, you want to shake my hand.
I'm very respectful. What are you talking about? I've been calling you one of the best fighters of this decade.
I heard all this
It's
stuff,
alright.
and they want to give me a hug. Like, I'm not
It's alright.
cool with that.
We'll see.
We can hug after.
Now the stage is finally set. Will this fight mark the triumphant return of a former pound-for-pound star, or will it become the heartbreaking final chapter of an accomplished career? Tim Tszyu desperately needs a statement victory to rebuild his momentum, while Errol Spence Jr. is fighting not only for another win but for the legacy he has spent years creating. When they finally meet in Australia, words will no longer matter. The only question left is whether a fighter can truly survive a war when part of his mind is already thinking about life beyond the sport. Let us know in the comments who you believe breaks first, and don't forget to subscribe for more boxing coverage.